Well, hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the sub-finale, I guess, episode of this Let's Play. This is our Pokemon Scarlet Let's Play, another fantastic episode, of course. And here we are going into Area 0. Now, there is a lot that goes on in Area 0. I try to just cover, like, the highlights of it, but I broke it up into two major sections, so it's going to be Part 1 and Part 2. And Part 2 is also going to be the finale of this series, so it is coming to a close. There is a lot that happens in these last two episodes, but we are starting our path the way home. It's a pretty cool episode. There's a lot going on, so if you do like it, hey, please feel free to like, comment, subscribe. I usually wait till the end for all that stuff, but it does greatly motivate myself to make videos just like this in the future, and we'll be moving to Pokemon Let's Go either Eevee or Pikachu starting next week. So exciting news there. Another Let's Play to knock out of the way. It's been really fun, this Let's Play. I know a lot of the elements haven't really jived with me. I haven't really loved some of the moments, but I am really loving this, and it does. Next episode you'll see what I would say is arguably the toughest battle in the whole game. I was thoroughly surprised by how tough it was compared to how the battles have been lately. It really does not hold your hand, so really exciting. And of course we have Numora, or however you say her name. She is joining us on our adventure, and I believe Penny is about to show up as well. She turns on the power. Yep, here comes Penny to join us on our adventure as well. So us four will be heading into Area 0 to take on these mighty strong Pokemon. There is also, there is some post-game stuff. If you guys are interested in seeing any of that, like all the gyms become available again, please let me know, and maybe we could split it in half next week. Maybe we'll push back the Let's Play for Let's Go, and we'll do like 4 gyms in one video and 4 gyms in the other video. But yeah, I really don't know if I want to go through all that ruckus. I typically don't do like post-game stuff, but that's just me. If you guys are really interested in that, hey, these videos are primarily for yourself. I mean, I do record them just because I'm playing these games regardless, but you know, if that's something you're interested in seeing, let me know. I don't mind pushing it out an additional week. As much as I love the Kanto region and can't wait to be back there, I could also wait a week. It's not a huge deal on my end, you know? But there's the professor. She's been expecting me, and it seems gathered a group of formidable people as well. And Penny's like, who are you? Yeah, we don't know any of this stuff. And Arvin's like, that's my mom. It's Professor Sada. So, people have heard of Professor Sada. Of course, Numora has. She's like into all this stuff. She loves it. She's the big Pokemon fanatic of the group. So, of course, she's heard about her and her achievements and all the ruckus going on here. You know, it's actually really par for her character. Like, it just fundamentally makes sense. So, I'm actually not even gonna knock that point. Like, that's just been her character through and through. She's, like, really excited about everything in the Pokemon world. So, I get it. But now we can proceed below, and this is going to take us into, like, Area 0, which I'm hoping is very unique. I'm going to roam around this area for a minute, talk to everybody, see what their dialogue is, and do a quick sweep, because sometimes there's, like, cool items and stuff like that hidden in areas like this, and I really don't want to miss out on anything, being as we're approaching the end of the game here. You know, I feel like there could be some cool stuff. Yeah, and I feel like there is some cool plot elements. We'll talk about those when we get there, like my thoughts leading into it, but it'll be interesting to go through like the end of this. You'll see what I mean. There's actually is some cool plot segments. There's some stuff that, like, I personally think, like, it's like a little cheesy, a little corny, whatever, but as a whole, I think it really works. I think it accomplishes what the game's trying to accomplish, like, from a storytelling perspective, which is, like, really neat. You know, it's not every day that they hit the nail on the head, especially in this series. They tend to be slackers, if I'm going to be honest. Sometimes it really works. Most of the time it doesn't. So it's nice when it really works, like in an instance like this, and I have a really positive feeling leaving the game. It's like I said, I recorded this all today. I know how it ends. I know what we're going to cover. So, you know, the voiceover, that makes it a little less like curious and ominous, I guess, in a way. But it's also not a bad thing. And I left enough exploration in here. Like, these 2 episodes are going to be long compared to like what I typically post. So, you know, there's some element of that to it. Why is my task manager open? That's always fun. Task manager, what are you doing up? But yeah, in my opinion, it's a really cool episode, and we have to ride our Pokemon out of here. I can't ride them in here, but I'm assuming I just have to go up and reach the group then. And you know how like every game has like this massive amount of budget that they spend on like graphics and animation and stuff? I'm assuming 80% of it was spent on this section here, because this section is actually like really enjoyable to watch. It looks really good, like it's very well put together. Now he doesn't want to go down. We think maybe he's scared of heights, but I mean, I've seen this guy scale walls. He's not scared of heights. He does not like Area 0. There, those 2 hop on, and then Penny hops on, facing the back. And then he gets ready to go. But I'm not there yet, so I'm like, hold on, wait for me. And I reach out. I luckily get a handful, and like, yeah, I'm going to make this the thumbnail somewhere along these lines, because this is like a really cool, like, that looks really well put together. In comparison to like everything we've seen in this game, that looks like the most like cinematic. I really like I don't know. I like how it looks. I like how it looks, folks. I can't really put it into any other words than that. It looks solid. It looks like a well-crafted game, which the rest of the game has not. So that's always neat when they're able to pull a win like that. It brings a tear to my eye that they're actually able to produce at a level that they should be producing. But here we go. We can see, honestly, it looks like much of the same, in my opinion. I don't think I was expecting to see like some crazy stuff going on. There is some crazy strong Pokemon down here that I think like you're supposed to battle before going into the final section of the game. I skip a lot of them. I battle a Pokemon here or there that we see, but not like any serious grinding, which I likely should have done. But like I said, at this point, the game it's becoming a lot to play. I feel like I've explored the vast majority of it. I know that there's other cool stuff that they've been pumping into it periodically over time, but I like to judge a game on its like base value, right? How good is it to just play through the thing as it was intended? And the expansion packs and stuff like that, that's not how it was intended to be played. So I'm not judging it on that level. It doesn't feel like a fair assumption of the game. But here we go. We get some more information from Professor Sada. Smooth sailing. Who could possibly complain about a landing like that? She's like, that is good. She doesn't really seem to care about us all that much. Like, outside of like us achieving her goals, I feel like there's not been like a whole lot of like stuff going on, you know what I mean? Give me 1 sec, I'll be right back. Alright, I am back. Sorry about that. I had to take a quick call there. And luckily I had my phone on vibrate for once in my life, so it wasn't going all over the place. But yes, I am recording this at the same point in time that I recorded Monday's episode there for Super Mario World 2. So, yeah, with that being said, it is Super Bowl Sunday here. I am recording this right before the Super Bowl. It'll probably be really close. I'll probably be wrapping this up just as the Super Bowl starts. So that's always very fun, always exciting. And I just wanted to get like this week's stuff out of the way. I feel like the last 2 weeks I've really been struggling to get stuff out on time. But there you can see, like, you have to travel to each one of these areas. I leave in a little bit when we're walking in like a later section that's like really cool to look at, but like everything else I just kind of edit out because it looks like a lot of the rest of the world that we've come to know in this series. Like, there's really nothing like that I look at and I say, wow, this is substantially different than everything else we've seen. You know what I mean? Like, it's all pretty par for the course, honestly. Yeah, it's a lot of the same old here until we get to like one of the sections coming. But there is a lot of important dialogue and things of that nature, so always like to keep that available for you guys to see, because I know that it can be neat, especially if like you want to see the game but like you don't want to play it yourself. You know, it's whatever, it's just something to do. But a lot of these battles here, like you can see, I'm getting ready to use Psychic. I'm ready for, they said the whole game that these were going to be really tough Pokemon, and Nomura one-hits it. So I don't even get the opportunity to battle this thing. Like, it just dies in one hit. And this is why, like, I didn't really start grinding, because I was like, oh, well, if it's going to be that easy, like, why grind here? You know? Like, obviously, if those Pokemon are going to be that easy, whatever we have to beat at the end of this section isn't going to be ungodly difficult. But that is not a correct assumption. You should grind here if you're playing through this game. This is the perfect opportunity to grind. It only gets harder. This is a really good spot to do it. That's just my forewarning to anybody playing this game. You should be grinding at this point in the game, because it does get significantly harder at the end. And I think, honestly, like, the amount of grinding, it would be sufficient to just go and battle Pokemon as you're going down this hill, because each one of these little areas you're about to see offers the opportunity for you to rest and heal up your team. So it probably what they're expecting you to do is like go and encounter all of the Pokemon on the routes to and from, but you know, myself, we're not going to do that. We're just going to look for cool stuff to pick up. There's a Raichu. I beat one up above with Dino God, which was really fun to do. But yeah, I think, like, honestly, I think the game expects you to come back here after this whole section and, like, continuously play through this area to grind up your Pokemon to go back and redo all the gym battles, because I think they're adjusted after it. I don't know. I didn't check any of them out, but I think they're, like, up to speed, right? The gym battles. The gym leaders now have, like, fully evolved Pokemon, and they're all, like, got great stats and whatnot. So I think that's what the game is intending for you to do, and like I said, it's intending for you to grind as you go down the hill, so that way when it comes time for like the final couple battles here at the end of it, you'll be in really good shape. Now, of course, we don't do that. Like I said, I'm not really like a grindy person, unless there's like, that's the deal is, I mean, you're seeing it out there, right? There's Raichu, there's Girafarig, there's a lot of cool Pokemon, but it's a lot of cool Pokemon that we've seen before. So like, I'm not really all that excited about it. I leave in some of this dialogue because they're like talking about the story, but, and I also wanted to show some of the area. So, you know, you could see a lot of that here. Like, just the Pokemon that we're seeing, it's a lot of the same. Like, we've seen this Pokemon out on the surface level. Like, it really doesn't, the moment doesn't feel any more special as we inch down here. The music is really cool here, but outside of that, it's a lot of like the same old, and I can't ride my special Pokemon here, so it's like, it's really slow to progress down these hills, which is why I didn't leave like a lot of it in. It's like, it's a lot of the same, and it's really slow paced, I feel. I get it, it's supposed to be like the grand finale, right? Like the highlight of this game is supposed to be this moment here, but like for me, it doesn't feel that way. This doesn't feel like a climax. It sort of does, but like it's a long road to the climax. Like, we should be stopped and forced into battle occasionally throughout this, you know? Like, something like that would make a world of difference in this section. But like I said, I still do think it's really great in its own right. I'm nitpicking at this point, right? Because that's what I've been doing like the whole series. I think it could be a little bit better, but I think as it stands, it's already pretty dang solid compared to like a lot of the rest of the game that we played through. Like, a lot of the game I wasn't like really thrilled. I was just like, oh, okay, this is okay. It's a Pokemon game. It can get away with doing this. But at this point, I'm like, oh wow, this is actually good. But it could have been a little better. Now, of course, everybody's going to have their own. Some people would say they hate to be constantly stopped. But I think it would be cool to have like 4-on-4 battles down here. Like leading up to this, like maybe in between each one of these battles that we have at one of these sites, there's like a 4-on-4, right? Like all 4 of us against 4 very distinct types, like Raichu, Giraffre, one of the bird Pokemon, and then maybe like a Donphan like we saw there. So that way, like, we can't just like steamroll with 1 or 2 Pokemon, because honestly it feels like at this point, like Conehead in this section of the game dominates legitimately almost everything that it comes up against. Like nothing stands a chance against it. Like you'll see as we go up against things, if Conehead can't outspeed, that's the only time that like we really switch out of Conehead. Otherwise Conehead is like truly the MVP of this section. I'm gonna give my dog a toy. She dropped her toy on the ground. She's excited to be up on the couch. She's ready for this game to come to a close, aren't you, girl? She says, yeah, I want to play with my dad. Yeah, it's funny, she'll watch the TV screen occasionally when stuff's going on, and like she kind of watches it, but like it's like on and off. Like she'll be interested for like 10-15 minutes, and then she'll just go on living her own life. So it is what it is. And here you can see, yeah, Conehead and Umbreon here are going to be like a great duo to take down. Screentail, I guess, is what they're calling it. They're not very creative with these names. And I know a lot of people are like, oh my god, this area is so cool. I love like all the different adaptations of Pokemon that they did. But like, I don't think it's whatever. I think it's okay. Right? Like, I understand why they did it, and it looks pretty cool, but I don't know. And for this one, for it being a staged fight, you think they could have positioned our Pokemon better so we could actually see them when they're attacking and things like that? Like, it's such an oddball. It's going to use Dark Pulse. That's going to finish them up. It's such an oddball, like, area to have a fight. Especially because they knew they were going to do it. Like, why isn't the camera in a better situation there? It's odd. I don't know. You know, it's one of those things that it's just like, okay, it exists. Why does it exist is a really good question, but oh, now my phone's being all goofy. How did I know that was gonna happen? How did I know? I used an app on my phone today that like I haven't used in like a year. Like now it's acting all goofy. I knew that was going to happen as soon as I used that app this morning. I knew that was going to happen. Sorry, that's just me like rambling about my personal life. You know how it goes. But yes, and of course, because this is before the Super Bowl, there's no soda pops. But they talk about these monsters that they found down here, which they're just Pokemon. Right? Like, we've talked about this time and time again. They're just Pokemon. They're just, I don't know. What do you think, Average Joe? And I'm like, I think they really are just Pokemon. She's like, same. They look different, sure, but they use moves in battles just like the Pokemon we know. And she's like, I need to explain. It's like some of the life forms came within Area Zero, an accident Pokemon. Yeah, they're ancient Pokemon from the past. They built a time machine here. There's no way that's possible. I think she's going to explain that here. Yep, there's a time machine in there that's unleashing these ancient Pokemon. And we have to stop it, or else the world is going to cease to exist, probably. The cost was catastrophic. You can actually travel to and from the past. In theory, it's possible to do that. And this is where I started to speculate. Right? She is obviously upset about leaving her son, and they keep going back and forth on this. He's like, why'd you call us here? And like, she looks like she wants to say sorry. So here was my speculation leading up into the finale. Now, I'm not going to confirm or deny any of this on this episode, because we will see what happens next episode. But I'm giving you my gut speculation as to what I thought was going to happen. right? As I was playing through, in this point in time, my main thought was his mom is going to be so disappointed and upset with herself when she sees everything that Arvin is going through, that she's going to go to the past, right? And just sort of be his mom, and then like all of this is avoided and all that good jazz, right? That was my thought. I thought that would have been a really cool plot line to follow up on, although it would sort of break a lot of what happened because we wouldn't have our legendary Pokemon, but maybe that's the price we pay. We have to sacrifice our legendary Pokemon for Arvin to have peace in his life. That was my original speculation. I thought that would have been a really cool way to wrap up this game. Like I said, I'm not going to confirm or deny if that is the case. Until we get there and we get solid confirmation, I'm not gonna spew a word about it. But here we go. I left some of this talking in here too. I think eventually we do cut when we get down here. Yep, there we go. So we're approaching the third one now. I think this is the third one, right? There's one on the hill. We just stopped at number 2. Yeah, this is number 3. So there's one more, and then we'll be able to go into the depths. Oh, and we've actually beaten this guy before. It was funny that Penny states, she's like, oh, we're obviously going to get attacked because we got attacked at the other 2. That is actually like really good funny humor. Like, it's comical. I really enjoy it that like she was like, yeah, well, like it happened everywhere else. Why would I not expect it to happen here? Which is my thoughts exactly approaching here. That's one of the times the game cracked a joke and I was like fully on board with it. And I'll send out Conehead again. Like I said, Conehead can tank pretty much everything down here. It is a great Pokemon. And yeah, Psychic's going to be super effective. So let's go with Psychic. It uses Brick Break on me. That's not going to do much. I wonder if Psychic will one-hit. If not, it's going to come close. Yeah, it's a one-hit. The Great Tusk has been taken down. Goodbye, Great Tusk. Conehead levels up to level 61, which is really good. Conehead's our least leveled up Pokemon. So it's nice that Conehead could get some good EXP out of all this. It's going to need it for the final battles coming up. The final battles. It's the final countdown. Okay, that's enough before I get demonetized, even though I don't currently make money on this stuff. So what does it really matter? It just puts like a red flag next to my YouTube video, and if it happens enough, they start to become a little upset with you from what I've been able to figure out. So let's go into here. Let's turn this on. And let's get to moving. Oop. Where'd the toy go, buddy? There it is. There it is. She threw the toy at me. Hit me in the back. She's just looking for attention. She wants to play. She wants to play. She wants to do stuff. We've had a pretty uneventful day. Yeah, it's been uneventful. I hurt my leg and stuff earlier in the week, so I was really banking on the weekend to just sort of take it easy and relax, but you know, sometimes when you have a crazy ass dog, you don't get such luxuries. You know? But that's, yeah, talking about his mom in the time machine. She's like, I believe it would be best for us to give some explanations here. The Pokemon that she gave to me was the first Pokemon that successfully retrieved from the past. Arvin's like, seriously? It's like, through analysis, behavior patterns, I realized that I had discovered, in fact, an ancient form of that Pokemon, which is still in the region. And I think I've always seen that Pokemon, and I beat him. Like many other Pokemon come from the boundaries of time, but I was never able to bring more than 2 specimens of this Pokemon. I mean, there's another one around here somewhere. What if they're family? The other one could still be somewhere in Area 0 waiting to finally be reunited. A heartwarming family reunion, Penny says. I agree with her. This sounds like really bad. No. It sounds like when 2 T-Rexes meet. Right? I don't think they would have like a lot of fun with one another. I think they would brutally try to murder each other. Let's press this. I think I go over here and I heal up, and then we'll be going into the cave that we saw in the background there when we were battling the Great Tusk, because that is where the core of Area Zero is, and where the rest of this episode is primarily going to take place. Right, we have to go down to the core. So here we are. We're making our way down. You really just missed us walking into the initial entrance of it, and then it cuts to the screen. You missed like 2 minutes of gameplay there. It's not a whole lot. No big deal. What are you crying about? But here we go. Obviously, we have to make our way all the way down there. They're like, look at those huge crystals. They go all the way to the bottom. Like, oh, that's pretty neat. And they do look like the traumatization crystals. Right? And I think somebody points that out here. I didn't put that together the first time. But it'd be nice if they went to the past and did that whole thing, because then maybe we could get rid of the traumatization stuff. Maybe that could have put an end to all that ruckus, because I don't like that in general. Can we do that? Pokemon, can we please do that? Can you do that for me, please? Please. But of course, yeah, there she goes. Terrestrialize. Not traumatized, as I've been saying the whole series. Although it's been traumatic for me, watching my beloved Pokemon franchise get shit upon. No, in all honesty, this game wasn't terrible. I'll probably have like a... I don't know if I'll do a review or anything like that. Sometimes I do for some games. Sometimes I do for others. I used to do a tier list, but... honestly, the Pokedex in this game is pretty vast, and I don't think I've come across like... even 70% of the Pokemon. Like, I think I'm somewhere in like the 60-65% of Pokemon scene, but like, I don't know, it just is what it is at this point. And I don't really think it would be worthwhile to do like a tier list. I don't know. Unless you guys want to see a tier list. If you want to see a tier list, hey, drop that in the comments below. Like I said, a lot of this stuff, I put it out there, but I'm doing it so you guys enjoy it. So, you know, if you guys would enjoy to see a tier list or enjoy to see any post-game stuff, let me know. But I wanted to keep this section in here just because, like, this landscape is pretty cool. It's leading up to what is obviously going to be some pretty plot-heavy stuff. So it's nice to get, like, this moment of breath before we actually move into the plot-heavy, because the next episode is probably going to be about the same length as this episode, and it's, like, 100% plot. Like, all of it is just the plot finally coming to a conclusion. So it's nice to have, like, this sort of episode where, like, we're learning a lot. The people are talking. You can read what they're saying there if you want to. And, yeah, we have a little bit of plot, a little bit of explanation, and a little bit of just wandering around the caverns. So it's, like, cool. It's, you know, you get a little bit of both worlds. And here we go. Here is our fourth little section where we need to go and press the button. This whole building has been traumatized. So that's interesting. I didn't know that that could happen, but I guess we're figuring out that it can. And there's no great battle in this one. We just walk in. Maybe there's a battle on the inside. Nope. And it looks like it's been pretty brutally attacked. It's like, what happened? It looked like something went berserk in here. But what? And she's like, hello, children. Professor, you scared her. She's like, I'm sorry. Why is everything busted up? I'm sorry. Hello, children. Come again? Sorry. Hey, children. So obviously something is going on. Hello, children. Initiating restart. The professor must be having some weird connection problems. And he's like, well, it was definitely weird. Almost like... And here we're getting into what could potentially be the real explanation. Maybe. Like I said, there's a lot of different moving pieces. Could it have cut out for a second? Could the connection have been cut? Because now we can hear her. But she stumbled on forgive there. And Arvin's like, that's not what that was. And she stays silent and she says, please make your way to the lab. So I want to go and talk to my buddy Arvin here. See what he's got a hunch of something. I'm agreeing with him. It seems like pre-recorded or something. Something shady's going on down here. I get what he's going after, and I'm agreeing with him. Maybe just dramatic flair? I don't know if I agree with that one. That seems like a pretty big stretch to pick up. So there's a lot of Terra shards down here, which is pretty cool. I'm wondering how much of this I could explore if I could bring my Pokemon back here and like really explore this in the post game. I really don't know what the answer is to that. And there we go, we almost fell to our death. That wouldn't have been fun. So this is not the way to go. Instead, we have to go back over this way. And it's funny, it like wants me to believe that our friends are right behind us, but in all reality, they would be getting into fights with all these Pokemon. Like, I'm intentionally dodging them just so I can get to the plot stuff. Like, I don't want to spend too long down here. But, yeah, they would be walking into them left and right, because they're just, right, like, programmable characters. And it doesn't help that, like, at this point in time, the game is, like, doing some serious glitchy stuff. Like, it's getting progressively worse as we approach the end of the game here. So, like, that definitely doesn't make me want to continue to chop away at playing this game. But there you can see there's almost, like, square panels on this thing, which is really interesting. I find that pretty fascinating. Once again, it's bleeding into the whole... Something feels very off about this whole situation. I don't know what it is, but there's something that's extremely wrong here. And I'm starting to get that vibe. I mean, I always kind of had that vibe, but like now it's really sinking in that like something or someone isn't telling the truth here. Something's going on. What the hell is this all? Can you provide an explanation? Here, I think there's a cool TM over here, if I recall correctly. Oh, Shadow Ball. Okay, we already have that. It's a good TM, don't get me wrong. We just have it, I think, on like 2 Pokemon. Maybe 3. I think it's just 2. I think Kong and Conehead have it. But here we go. Here's the entrance to the lab. And I really, man, this is where, like, Arceus really spoiled me, because Arceus had some cool Pokemon just, like, floating out in voids and stuff. Like, you would see Scizor and just a lot of really cool Pokemon that I haven't seen in a long time. And this one is just, like, it's showing me cool Pokemon per area, but, like, they're the same Pokemon in said areas all the time. Like, I would like a hodgepodge of Pokemon here to just bleed in, you know, get like some Machamp, some Alakazam, some Dragonites, get like the strongest of the strong down here. And have them bleed in with the other Pokemon, right? Like have a Pichu level 62 and some stuff like that. But here's the structure that will lead us in there. We have to push that button, and then we will be able to enter the place. Possesses a particular energy. It could be the functioning of living things. It allows Pokemon to terrestrialize. He's like, this whole building's terrestrialized. And Penny's like, don't be silly. She's like, the professor implied, yeah, whatever. They make the crystals down here. That's what happens. She's like, indeed, though not many know that we do that. Since you have disabled all the locks, the gate to the Zero should open for us. But once we open the gate, we will quickly be confronted with dangerous Pokemon inside, and they will likely make a break for freedom. And I'm like, that sounds like a big problem, because there's 4 of us, and I don't know how many are going to come out. It could be anywhere between 1 and 500 based on your some Pokemon. You know? It seems like a gamble to take. Like, quite a big one. Like, not a small gamble. It seems pretty risky to be doing this. Let's open the gate. It's like, look, if there's a bunch of dangerous Pokemon that come out there, shouldn't we use your dangerous Pokemon to help us here, Average Joe? And yeah, if he was in his battle form, that would be really helpful. But he's not in his battle form right now. So I don't know how helpful it's going to be to bring him out. Right? He's just been a chill dude up until Like, since we first met him. He was pretty dangerous in that one section, but since then, really chill all around. No complaints from that guy. He's been a really cool dude. We should go back. Yeah, I want to go back and explore some of the areas like where we first found him and stuff, but I don't know how much value it adds. But we'll see. Maybe it'll be tacked on. I highly doubt it. It could be. We'll see how long the next episode actually runs for. But here we go. We open this. It's open, and there's the other one. Now, obviously, just looking at him, his intentions are not of a good nature. Yeah, he is definitely... This is not a happy family reunion, as Penny implied earlier. This is going to be not good. He's screaming in his face. And our guy's just like trying to hide. He's trying to be his buddy. We trained this guy to be a pretty chill dude. But then all of a sudden all these Pokemon come out and he's like, oh, I want to get in there. Let me get in there. Does he shoot us a glare? Yeah, he does. Then he makes his way in. And that Pokemon's cuddling up with Numora. It's like I said, yeah, as expected. Whatever we open up down here is not going to be good. It's going to be really bad. We should stay away from it. She's like, what's wrong? Are you bummed that it wasn't a heartwarming family reunion? Penny's like, are you an idiot? There's nothing heartwarming about it. It's going to be a nasty brawl. She's like, for real? She's like, look at him. He's terrified. They're not pals. They're not good. Not good vibes. Yeah, once we could get it to battle, it will. But I don't really want him to battle all that much. He's been a pretty chill dude, right? There's something to be said about a legendary Pokemon that we don't want to battle. Like, we just... Whatever, he's our mode of transportation, and I kind of like just having him around. He's pretty cool. But now we have some battles with some of these goons here. Like I said, Conehead can deal with every single thing coming out of here. There's really like nothing over the top exciting about any of this at this point, because we've battled all these Pokemon on the way here, which once again is part of it. It would have been cool to have like a Dragonite, a Machamp, Alakazam, Gengar, make versions of those Pokemon and only show them here and only make them catchable in the post game. That's fair, and it would give like some oomph to this moment here. But instead, it's like if you have a good fairy type, you could kill everything here. And most people will have a strong fairy type because the game... Well, to be honest, the last guy you fight in the Elite Four is the Dragon Master before you go up against the champion. You want to have a fairy type for that. Or a really strong ice type. An ice type would do well here. Like, it's oddball. Sometimes the game does some really odd things. And I'm not saying it's the end of the world because I still enjoy it, but like there's just some really odd decision making here at the end of the game. Because it's supposed to be like this huge, grand moment. And it doesn't hit the nail on the head because the game doesn't let it hit the nail on the head. You know, like it could have easily been this big grand moment, but it's just not. I think that's time and time again what has disappointed me the most throughout this game is it wants to be huge, but there's just so many limitations and such a lack of do I even care about this characters that like it will never reach that level. Sorry, game. You let me down. It's alright though, it's alright. Like I said, I'm still having a lot of fun playing it, so at this point it's just like critiques of like how the end game could have been. And I think Moonblast should be super effective here, I'm hoping. I don't know. We've fought like Among Us or whatever it's called, but we've never fought this version of it. Yeah, Moonblast super effective. Let's see, Dark Pulse. It's not very effective, so not sure why it went for it, but let's go with Moonblast again. Hopefully it doesn't hit us again. Oh, we hit first this time. Perfect. There we go. He's dead. Everybody's getting some good EXP here at the end, which is always very nice, always welcome. And then he's going to yell at him, like, ah. But that's going to be it for this episode. There's really one more fight left, and then we decide that we want to go in here. But if you like this episode, please feel free to like, comment, subscribe. All that good stuff motivates me to make videos just like this in the future. I hope that you all enjoyed this episode, and I hope to see you here on Thursday for the grand finale. There may be an opportunity to do 1 or 2 post-game episodes if that's what you guys would like to see, but I personally am feeling like maybe it's just time for us to move on to our next Let's Play. But let me know your thoughts on that down below. If I don't hear anything, we'll probably just move on to the next Let's Play. And until next time, guys, everybody take it easy. Hope you all had a snazzy Monday and are having a snazzy Tuesday as well, and the rest of your week goes terrific. Until next time, everybody take it easy.